Good day, gamers. Fortain here, and welcome to episode 2 of Minecraft, the Betweenlands. Hello, everyone. Oh, we're back. I'm doing well, and I hope you're doing well as well. Like I said, this is going to be episode 2 of Escape from the Betweenlands. We have to explore this murky area, collecting all the items, doing all the advancements and bosses, crafting everything that we're able to, eat all of the foods, and eventually craft the Drayton, the flying ship, and fly ourselves out of this dimension. We have a long way to go between here and there, and the first thing we're going to be doing is, if you take a look off in the distance, you're going to see a bunch of pots on these kind of ruins. We're going to be going through and collecting whatever we can from those, because that's going to be a very good source of some starting materials. Mostly we're going to be looking for things like octine and ceramite, which are this mod's equivalents to gold and iron. We're going to need those for a few different things, mostly to craft the different tools that we need to use to obtain the different plants and such that are around. Because if you break the plants by hand, the vast majority of them, you will get nothing. Things like mushrooms are okay, the reeds are okay to break by hand, but pretty much anything else that you see, like these cattails, these white plants off in the distance, this kind of bush looking thing over here, anytime you try and break that by hand, you're going to get nothing. So you need either a set of shears or a sickle, which won't be for won't be for a good while from now. But yeah, we're mostly going to be looking for the ceramite ingots or nuggets that we can use to turn into ingots. But we're going to be using those to make things like a fishing rod, a barrel eventually. Here's the shears themselves. We can make armor out of them, but that's going to be for, much later. It's mostly going to be used to make, like, basic things, barrels, gecko cages, and so on. The compost bin. We're going to be using the compost bin so much. There are so many things to compost in this mod that we're going to have to do a lot of experimentation with. Given what I can remember back from playing the Betweenlands in SevTech, yeah, the composter gets a lot of work. But for now, we're just kind of cooking up some of the foods we've been getting so far. Making another set of tools. I don't want to have too many of the tools with me at any one time at the moment, simply because even if they're in my inventory here, they will start corroding. And if they get to a certain point, if you use a tool that's corroded, you won't get anything when mining with it. So I definitely don't want to reach that point. I do want to go ahead and use some of this reed rope to make a few things. The main thing we're going to be making is going to be, we take a look through here, we're going to make a couple of these nets. The nets are going to be useful for catching some of the smaller creatures. Oop, I didn't mean to make 3. That's fine. They'll get used. Hello, lurker. Hi there. I'd rather not mess with you, lurker. So if you just want to stay out there, that's perfectly fine. I'm not interested in fighting the lurkers. The lurkers are very dangerous, can most likely kill me quite quickly because they do a lot of damage. We are currently cooking up these dried swamp reeds because you can make donuts out of them. Not the best food, but again, we're subsisting on whatever we have access to. Needing to make sure that we switch up the foods that we're eating every few bites, just to make sure that we don't start getting the food sickness from them. We're going to cook a little bit more of these reed donuts. And then we're going to head out, start making our way towards some of the pots off in the distance, collecting some more of the swamp reeds as we go. And yeah, just kind of collecting what we can. At this point of the game, we are still just basically collecting as many raw materials as we can for the basics. It's not going to be until a bit later on that we can start actively like hunting down a bunch of things, or like definitively start going caving for materials. We kind of just have to make do with whatever we can find here on the surface. All right, that is a good amount of this stuff. I think we can actually make ourselves a rowboat and use that. Hey, that's an even advancement right there. Captain 101. Let's see. Where is that one? Ah, here we go. Captain 101. Obtain a weedwood rowboat. But yeah, full of hot air. Obtain a Drayton aircraft. That's much later on. Much later on. But for now, since that lurker is right there, we're actually going to use our rowboat. How does one... There we go. Alright, so we're... Ah, like this. Understood. Okay, cool. And then we just break it like we do a regular boat. Good to know. Okay, cool. We'll take that with us. Again, kind of taking a look around to see what we have access to. Let's see, we've got some stones here. That is going to be our main ranged weapon, is these weedwood pebbles. Oh, hi, hello. Mr. Crab. I do not appreciate you pinching me, Mr. Crab. Thank you for the crab claws. There's a bunch of crabs over there. Alright. We've got some frogs here. Get frog legs. We can also use the net, capture these fireflies, which will then be able to later on turn into lanterns of all things, to be able to have another source of light. You can also use the lanterns specifically for oh, hi, hello. Excuse me. I saw you. You tried to give me a pinch. And you actually did give me a pinch. But you can use the lanterns once we have access to this thing called a moth house to make silk. That'll be very useful. Okay, gonna swap foods here. Continuing on, we've got plenty of sap, so we don't have to worry about that. Again, collecting more reeds. Grab these stones, or the pebbles. Yeah, between stone pebbles. I do see some ruins off in the distance here. Hello, frog. May I please have your frog legs? Thank you. Need the snails. Eventually, can I capture the snails with the net? I can. Okay, well, that works. That'll make it very easy to collect the snails for later breeding. Unfortunately, they don't stack, so I do kind of have to be careful with how many snails I'm capturing. And snails and other creatures, because I don't have that much inventory space right now, and I'm not going to have that much inventory space for a good while. So I do kind of have to be careful. We have some pots off in the distance, and if we look, there is something right there that we do have to be careful about. That is a shallow breath. Can I shoot them? I don't think I can. Go. XP is appreciated. A very full inventory is not. Don't think. Oh, you can shoot the shallow breaths. Okay. Good to know. I did not know if they took range damage or not, but apparently they do. Awesome. So, note to self, if I see a shallow breath, I will shoot a shallow breath to much more easily kill it. Okay. Very, very, very good to know. Alright, we've got ourselves a pot here. A Potto Chance, which had a little bit of sulfur in it. Not bad. Not exactly what I need at the moment, but hey, I'm not gonna argue for some free sulfur. Another pot here. And yes, like I said, we are still very much in the early game. Ooh, an amulet socket. That will be nice. Later on, I will be able to craft amulets. That will get me certain buffs depending on which stone I put into them. My inventory is very full. Let me drop... let's see. We've got how many pots here? We got 2 pots here. I see some nibble twigs. Yet another source of food. Let me drop a pin right here. Just call it pot hunting. Yeah, let me drop a pin here. Let me go back, empty my inventory, and then I will come back and continue grabbing that stuff. Ooh, there's a bunch of pots right here. Well, a bunch. At least 3. Hello, Chirama. I see you floating off there. You see me. Yes. Alright. Starter base is off this way. Eat a little bit of sap to regain my decay. This way. In fact, I could probably go ahead and pop my boat out. Oop. Go. Gonna take some practice here steering the boat. Basically, it just runs opposite from, you know, standard boat. That's okay. But I got it. Okay. Empty out the inventory. Just kind of shift a bunch of stuff in here. We can't do anything with the geckos at the moment. We'll be using those for, I hate to say it, experimenting on. We'll go ahead and... Oh, we need to make more sticks. That's okay. Go. More sticks for smelting things. We'll go ahead and cook up the frog legs. Cook that up. Make more donuts. And, let's see. The smoking rack needs angler tooths. Or angler teeth, I guess I should say. The anglers... Hi. Are these fish right here? Oh, hi. Ow. 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 Those fish are always a pain in the butt. The main thing is because they can jump out of the water, they'll just be attacking you as you're trying to do stuff. And because they then flop around a bunch, it makes it rather difficult to hit them. So as you can see, you can... They don't do a lot of damage, but they can do a fair amount of damage pretty quick from just flopping around. There we go. Okay. Yeah, there's another angler here. Try and get one of... I don't have any angler's teeth yet. No, I don't. It swam away. Let's go chase it down. Get back here, fish! I need your tooth, I guess. Nope, no teeth? Okay, then. Well, alright. I'll have to keep fighting, but that's okay. Okay. Swap foods. Then back to the starter base. And continue on. Okay. Inventory is... Honestly, it's kind of full. Let me just go ahead and eat this crab stick here. Crab stick. Okay. I think 3 things of food that I can swap out between is going to be enough for right now. Later on, I'll be able to kind of consolidate the food I'm using. But for right now, that'll work. Okay. Head back out. Back to where I was hunting those pots. Some more swamp reeds. Make more donuts. Well, not making the donuts at the moment. But eventually I will. Keeping an eye on my mini-map there, just up in the corner. And, of course, it's now getting dark. That's fine. Hopefully later on... I don't want to face that lurker. That's what I was about to say. Hopefully later on, I will get access to a night vision type effect that will allow me to see much easier when it gets very dark like this. Because again, I do have to be somewhat careful. You know, obviously, I want you all to be able to see. But this can actually be a little headache-inducing if you're just really trying to strain to see in the dark here. So I do apologize for it being kind of dark right now. Hopefully it won't last all too long. Got some sulfur. It's appreciated. Got a couple octane, not ingots, but octane nuggets. Very nice. Okay. Go ahead and remove that. Continuing on. And for those pots a chance. Oh, what do we got? got some more swamp reeds here. That. Right. A lot of these weedwood bushes nearby, which is good. That'll be very helpful once I start getting access. Snail. Ah, snail. And snail. Perfect. Grab a couple of these mire snails. When I have access to what was I saying? Oh, the weedwood bushes, that's right. The weedwood bushes will be really nice to have access to. Lightning! Once I have access to the, to start making silk, because that's actually going to be pretty important for that process. We have ourselves a nibble twig log here. Nibble twigs are an additional food source. Let's go ahead and collect some of its goodies. Like to place... There we go. Trying to find the right spot to place a ladder. Alright. Up to the top. So what you can do with the nibble twig log is you can make nibble twigs out of them. And it is another food source. Again, not great, but it works. Just clearing away some of the leaves. I will definitely take the saplings so I can grow more when needed. Let's see. Clear away the leaves so we don't have a bunch of floating leaves. Try not to have floating leaves when I can. I do have to be very careful of the poison ivy there. It doesn't do much damage. It just mainly puts the poison effect on you. And I fell. It mainly just poisons you, which, you know, over time can do quite a lot of damage. We get materials. Thank you. Just kind of collecting some of this nibble twig while it's dark. But yeah, the nibble twig log can be made into nibble sticks, and it's an okay, like, hey, I'm at home, I don't want to use any of my good foods right now, I just need to rotate through some of the crappy foods. It's not a good combat food by any stretch of the imagination. You're not going to be eating this and then, you know, going to fight a boss or anything. But it's like, hey, my regular foods are getting kind of low. I just need something to nom on while I'm at my base. Nibble twigs are good. Go, frog legs. Alright. You have to be careful of the nettles. I don't have... That's a tar pool. They can spawn tar monsters. I don't want anything to do with them. Let us away. Let us away with a quickness. The tar monsters, just like the lurkers, are something that you do not want to mess with, if at all possible, in the early game. You will not survive a meeting with a tar monster anywhere close to high. Anywhere close to the early game, you will not survive a meeting with them. Okay, whew. I definitely need some more between stone pebbles. Add nettles. It's a little greebling dude playing some music. I'm not gonna bother him. Right there. It's just a little dude playing some music. You're gonna leave him be and move along. Okay. Hi, Crab. Are you gonna try and come after me, Crab? You are. You're spitting bubbles at me. Hi. Okay. Ooh. Do a fair... Ow! Okay. Alright. Abandon whatever I was doing and move along. Heal. They do a fair amount of damage, apparently. Okay. You do get crab claws for them, so that is useful. I'm guessing what was happening is they were spitting those little bubbles at me, and then the bubbles were damaging me. Swap to donuts. Keeping an eye out here. Alright, so we've already gotten those pots there. We do see some middle gem ore. The middle gems will be useful in, well, crafting a bunch of stuff, but also giving certain buffs depending on which gem I have slotted onto my armor, my tools, my weapons, things like that. See some ammo here. Gladly take these pebbles. Later on, when I start digging down into the ground, I can just turn all of the between stone that I get into these pebbles if I'm still using that as my ranged weapon. But for now, since I'm not digging much, just collect what I can from the surface. Okay. We got some ruins here. Let's see what we get in our pots of chance. Ow. Damnable termite. Always a pain in the butt when we find one, because they're hard to hit. They scamp around a bunch. Go. They don't drop anything on their own, pretty much. Yoink! I got a firefly, very nice. There are a fair amounts of pots here, so let me go ahead and make pot hunting. Go. That's gonna be a cheer maw. Let's go ahead and empty our inventory since we are pretty close to the starter base again. Hi, Chiramaw, I know. Ah. And it's daytime. Oh, thank goodness. But yes, let's head back to the starter base. Drop off our inventory full of stuff, and then continue on. Go. Okay. Go ahead and cook the snail flesh. Shift all this stuff into here. I think I'm good for the moment to not have to worry about, let's see, it's reed ropes and weedwood stick. Rope, with sticks. Go ahead and make another slingshot. That way I can switch between the two when needed. Okay. I don't think I can combine my swords. Nope, not yet. Everything else is okay for the moment. Grab some more balls of sap. Seared snail flesh. Pop off on our sap. And the snail flesh. Okay. I believe we're good to continue on. Oh. There's a couple wings here. Thanks to that lurker that is right there, and I do not want to mess with. So we're going to curve around in this direction so we don't get too close to it. These are poison frogs, so we do have to be somewhat careful. But on the upside, we can get some poison sacks from them, which we can use later on to make poison arrows. Okay, there are a bunch of pots right here, and I think that is a spawner off in the distance from the look of it. Yep, Chiramaw sees me. That's fine. We're good. Yeah, there's a bunch of pots right here, a couple more pots here. If we're careful, we can collect them. Let's go for this one first. Ladder our way up, like so. Up we get. And what do we get? Little booger of a termite. They drop nothing, they give nothing except experience. And all they do is push you off when you're trying to collect things. How dare you? But that's okay. We took it out quite handily. Alright. I got some angler-tooth arrows, so that's not too bad from the pot. Again, not something we really need at the moment because we're not really using the bow. Got some Dendrothrist shards. Helpful. See a shallow breath off in the distance here. Okay. Chiramaw here. Do you see me? Just go ahead, yep. And swap to the sword, perfect. Take that out so it doesn't knock us off as we're trying to do stuff. And shallow breath. Yep, it sees me. Oh, I got it. Got it, nice. Okay. That was a good hit. Okay. Very glad to know that you can just take out the shallow breaths like that. Got a bunch of pebbles I can grab here. Thank you. Appreciate reloading my ammo. Unfortunately, sometimes the plant hitboxes will prevent you from from doing stuff, but it's okay. All right. Back to these pots. And doesn't exactly look like something's floating over there, but I'm not quite sure. Let's see what we can see. And climb on up. Can you not climb a ladder if you're stuck in the mud? Apparently not. Okay. Good to know. All right. First pot. Termite. Hi, Chiramaw. Hi. Okay. Well, this is going to be interesting. All right. I'll Apologies for the bounciness of combat at the second. We're gonna have to run for just a moment. Okay. So that is a white. I can shoot them, which is very helpful. Oof. Oh my goodness gracious. Oof. Those things are quite difficult. They're quite difficult to fight. The main reason they are so difficult to fight is when they take on that ghostly looking form, they can try and possess you, which makes it hard to hit and also does damage to you. Oh, there's items down here. Grab those. Got some Ceremerite nuggets. Nice. But they'll do damage. They can also attempt to possess other enemies that are around and will emit these like particle effects that do a fair amount of damage very quickly. Okay. Of course, we got another termite here. But we did get... say no to decay. We got a weeping blue petal, which we can eat just on their own. But I can make later on into something much better. Alright. But yeah, if you take a look and you see that kind of green floating crystal in the middle of that structure there, that is a spawner. I don't know what kind of spawner it is, and at the moment, I kind of don't want to know. I want to stay, most likely, very far away from it, because there's a good chance that whatever comes out of that is going to be very bad. Now, there can be the occasional spawner that is very... Well, I don't want to say that no spawner is helpful. They're all technically... I've got a bone wayfinder. Nice. Pretty much every spawner is helpful in its way. There's usually going to be a chest or two full of goodies at the spawner, which can be really nice. And of course, it being a spawner means that you can be constantly getting a supply of whatever that creature drops. So for example, if it's a spawner of... oh, I need to get my ladders. Left my ladders there. If it's a spawner of, say, Chiramaw, you will get an infinite supply, slow supply, but infinite supply of Chiramaw wings. If it's, you know, snails, then you got an infinite supply of, you know, snail stuff. But if it's an enemy, such as a white, yes, you get an infinite supply of whatever the white drops. But now you also have to be very careful of whites just spawning there and then making their way over to your base. Now, obviously, like most spawners, they'll only spawn if you're within a certain distance from them. But it still becomes a hazard that you have to be careful of. Alright. I do see more pots off in the distance here. Let's go ahead and grab them. Oh, we do have more pebbles. Stock my ammunition, please and thank you. Greatly appreciated. Once I start having a pretty good amount of arrows, once I'm able to take down those, not only the anglers, little anglerfish, but also the dragonflies. Once I start being able to take them down pretty regularly, then I'll start using the bow and arrow, which does a good bit more damage than the slingshot does. But for now, it's what I got. Okay. There we go. fair amount of pebbles for the moment. I do see an enemy coming towards me. It's another white. I'm also very cognizant of that shallow breath right there. Okay. Whew, got it. Yeah, like you saw, the contact damage from that thing was about 4.5 hearts. And this is gonna hurt. Okay, got it. Oh, is that you making that noise? Couldn't tell if it was the shallow breath making the noise or that, like, men here. That's right there. I think it was the shallow breath dying. Okay. Food is doing okay. My sword is getting low. But we do have some pots here to go through. No other enemies around at the moment. Let's take a look and hope. Of course, we have yet another termite. Ow. Stop it. Like, it wouldn't be too bad if the termites, like, actually dropped something beyond just XP. But they don't even, you know, they drop XP. But they don't even drop, like, food. They don't drop crafting components. Nothing. You can't capture them with the nets. Go. Got some more arrows, which again is somewhat appreciated. Take those pebbles. Thank you, thank you. We got some pots in the water here. Okay, back up to the surface. Got a shallow breath right there, and shallow breath right there. Grab that. There we go. Get that pebble. Are you heading towards me? You are not at the moment. Got it. Nice. And he drops. Just looks like XP. Okay. That's fine. There is a rare chance for the shallow breaths to drop some mid-game stuff. Again, it's a rare chance, but I'm always kind of on the lookout. Oh, got an item scroll. Nice. Always on the lookout just in case one happens to drop something I need. Up we get. We got some octane arrows, which are very nice. Those can be used to set enemies on fire. There we go. Fresh sling. Ah, there's another pot. I thought I saw at least one more pot right here. More arrows. When I have about a stack of arrows, I may go ahead and swap over to using the arrows, or the bow and arrows. I just don't want to blow through a ton of them very fast, because again, not able to really fight the enemies that I can use to get their drops very often. A bunch of plants that I can't do anything with yet. Yeah, let me go ahead, head back to my base. We shall... yoink! Grab the firefly. Grab some more of these pebbles. So in terms of storage and backpacks and stuff like that for this mod, once I start being able to take on the lurkers, which are the big crocodile looking dudes, I'll be able to start using their hides to make lurker bags. I'll be able to use them to make armor, which is going to be the equivalent of leather armor. But they do a lot of damage. They do a very large amount of damage very quickly. So unless I definitively start using the bow on them and like start attacking them from far away, I don't think I'm going to be able to attack the lurkers anytime soon. I'm going to have to wait for the lurkers to start fighting with the anglerfish, because they will attack and damage each other. But I'm gonna have to wait for that. Speaking of the anglerfish, there's one right there. I'm just gonna swim back to my house. Oh, that's a shallow breath. Okay. Oof. Let's hop inside, recover, make some more tools. There we go. Okay. Empty out the inventory. Let's see. Got a fair amount of pebbles, which is nice. We're getting a tiny amount of ceramite, not enough for what I want to do. We do have a tiny amount. Let's go ahead and make a sword. One. Oh, those are the logs. Doot. Logs into planks. Planks into sword. Very nice. We'll go ahead and cook the frog legs. And we'll make some more crab sticks. Crab claws. Into crab sticks. Another nice form of food. So what have we collected so far? Take the nibble twig logs. Make the nibble sticks. Again, just a basic food. Gonna eat that while I'm at home. Save my better food. Munch. 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 They also give you a little bit of XP, which is kind of nice. Oh, they go up. They go up in very fast. Well, I guess that's that's one way to also make your other foods better, is just to eat the nibble twigs, because they go up faster. They bring down the food sickness of your other foods pretty quick. Okay, not bad. Take the frog legs. How many swamp reeds we got? We got a fair amount of swamp reeds. We'll go ahead and cook some more to be able to make the donuts. I do want to make another simple slingshot. Always good to have two, especially if one starts getting too corroded. Definitely at the point of the game right now where you have two of your basic things, so when you then head out, you can combine them together. Yeah, that one's moderately corroded already. Let's grab planks and sticks. Make another axe. Okay. Cooking up the swamp reed. Making up the donuts. Right. can go hunting for more pots, but I think I would like to. My biggest issue right now is simply having the inventory space to do much of anything. There's a lot of stuff I'd like to grab. That is a crab. Hi, crab. Hi. You hurt. Like, very much hurt. Very much. I'm very wary anytime I see the red dots on my minimap. I know there's a crab chasing me. There's a crab chasing me. Like so. Hi. Yes. You cannot move as easily in the water. Ow, but you still hurt. They gave me such a pinch. Such a pinch. I can eat a crab stick when I can. There. Regenerate that health. One more crab stick. There we go. Oof. Again, such a pinch. Ah, we've got some weedwood trees here. We've got some sap trees. Got a Cheremoth floating up there. Looks like it's got a rider. Don't have enough Searmerite yet to be able to make the shears I need for certain things. That's just gonna be having to continue to pop pots until I get it. Either that or find a cave, which I do need to find a cave entrance anyway. I need to start digging downwards to get certain materials that can really only be found underground. The pots of chance just kind of make it so you don't have to do so as soon. But like I said, there is the Searmerite that I need. There's the Octine that I need. And I also need to find something called an infestation. Because one of the new materials, well, new to me, added materials, is silk. And to get silk, you need to start finding infestations. Hi, crabs. Thank you. Thought I heard a lurker behind me for a second. I did? Okay. You know what? You can have that. You can have those things. I do not want to fight you. You can have those items. See if I can sneak around and grab them from this side. Hi, crab. Crab, this is none of your business right now. I do not want any of your pinchy shenanigans. Thank you. Okay, grab my crab claws and run! Run away! Better part of valor, better part of valor. Alright. We made it away. Good. Hi, crab. Crabs will be forever pinchin'. They will be forever pinchin'. Okay. Have a couple sap balls. Hi. Do you... Crab, do you mind doing so much damage to me? Sit here and regenerate a moment. Think about my life choices. Being pinched by a crab. Pinched me right in my tuchus. Right on the tuchus. Yes, Mr. Spooky, I see you. Oof. Okay. That's a swamp hag over there. Let's go ahead. How far away are we from... Oh, not far away at all from the starter base. Good, good. Frog for frog legs. Oh, yeah. This tree, like I said, is pretty close to the starter base. Starter base is right here. I'm gonna go ahead and dig out some wood from this tree here. Especially considering it's starting to get somewhat dark. Hi, hag. Are you gonna have to... You're gonna have to fight me. Hi, yes. It will just continuously get you into a lock of making you bounce backwards, which kills you pretty easy. They are not exactly super difficult to fight, but again, you have to be careful with them potentially teaming up with the whites to then do their very powerful ability of killing you very quickly. Alright. Yeah, since it's getting dark again, I am in need of some wood. Specifically, I want to start making... I need some logs to be able to make a shield. Because I'd like to have a bit of a better defense when it comes to fighting everything. Speaking of a white, you're going to make this difficult, aren't you? You're tracking me, aren't you? Most likely. Yeah, the absolute worst thing you can find is a white and a swamp hag where the white has possessed the swamp hag and is now doing their combined attack. It is, even in good armor, it is pretty devastating how quickly that can ruin you. Right. I'm going to attempt to make a getaway. See if he follows. Does not look like it. That's good. Back to home sweet starter base. Take our dried swamp reeds. Some more donuts. Empty out the inventory. Okay. Let's go ahead. We can make ourselves a shield. Hi. Are you a fish or are you... You're a fish. Okay. The fish I can fight. Come on. Actually, you getting yourself into my house is funny, and it kind of works. There we go. Didn't get anything from it, but oh well. We'll combine our swords. Go. Let's go ahead and make a shield. Just basic weedwood shield. There we go. And we now have the advancement shield wall, which is over here in fighter, I believe. Yes. Shield wall. Equip yourself with a Betweenlands shield. Lots of other things to get, but that's okay. But now we have a shield for a bit of defense. Not a lot of defense, but a bit. Okay. Swap over to this food. And I think I can convert these weedwood logs into those logs. Yes. Let's build this up a bit so we're not as exposed to the outside world. That's better. Oops. Let's see, need to go. Need a little bit more wood. Ah, but that's okay. And we use this middle weedwood to make our sticks for cooking. All right. We are still alive, which is a good thing to be able to say here in a hardcore world. Staying alive is always a good thing. We have managed to get some materials, not a lot, but we have managed to get some. We are keeping okay on our food. Cook that food. Smoking rack. Yes, I need the angler's tooth to be able to make the smoking rack, to be able to make different kinds of food, so like smoked frog's legs, instead of just, you know, cooking them in the furnace. I can also smoke the crab's claws to make smoked crab claw. Again, just another form of food. We are getting a small amount of arrows. Not a lot, but a small amount that we'll be able to use once we do switch over to using a bow. I think my next course of action is going to be to trim down one of these weedwood trees a lot more, just to get plenty of wood, so I can keep my furnace stocked with sticks for cooking stuff, as well as to go ahead and finish off the interior of the starter base here. I might do that off camera, considering it's just... Ooh, excuse me. It's just going to be going over to this tree and, like, starting to cut it down. I might do that off camera. We'll see. But from there, we're going to continue, next episode, we're going to continue looking through the pots, see if we can get anything good from them. And just increasing the amount of materials that we have that we can play with. And increasing the amount of food that we can eat. There we go. Fill up the sticks. And cook up the swamp reeds. But until next time, thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you have a good day. And good game.